Right, I've left my cup and saucer overnight, and as you can you see where the hot glue from the glue gun has gone a cloudy milky colour? And this now means, if I bring in a pokey tool just to show you, that I am happy. Can you hear that? That's really dry, because that's had a good 24 hours to just properly dry off. Even if you leave it overnight, just 12 hours, that just means that's nicely set. Okay, so that's my floating cup all ready to go. So now let's make our flowers. I'm going to pop that to one side and we will make our flowers. So I've just die cut my flowers through my Gemini, and the way I do it, and you can do quite easily, and you've seen the girls on the telly do this the same as well, is you just get your foam, and I fold mine into 4, but you can quite easily die cut even more. So you just put your foam there, 4 layers, dies on top, your normal Gemini sandwich, and die cut away. Okay, so I've already die cut my flowers ready to save time, because you don't want to see me doing that, and my leaves. So what I wanted to do is to show you with the leaves is, these are the leaves when they're die cut. Okay, so they're nice, look beautiful, but they do look a bit flat and plain. Okay, so this is where obviously when you're heating them up it helps. But the other thing I do is just add a little bit of the green Harmony ink. So I've used Grasshopper, one of my go-to colours for leaves and greenery. Okay, so just by adding a little bit round the edge, gives a little bit more detail to your leaves, makes them look a little bit more lifelike. So I'm just bringing in some leaves there so you can see before and after. So this is just the difference with doing it. And the way I ink around the edge for them, or just adding ink, I'm not being too precious about the around the edge, I'm just using one of the dome sponges, and all I do is just literally just dab a bit over them. Not technical at all, it just means you're getting a bit of extra colour onto that green foam. Okay, the other ones I've done in white, and I've actually coloured the whole thing in this Grasshopper colour, and because I've used white foam as well, you do see a difference, but it just makes a little bit more difference to your leaves. And the same thing again, if I bring in the branch one here, can you see that? That's what I call inked and heated. Let me show you one that's just been die cut. Now what to you looks more lifelike? That one that's got the shape and a bit of added colour. So again, let's just add a little bit more colour on there. Again, I'm not being too careful. So let's put that green away now, and we'll add some heat to these. Let me just wipe that up off my craft desk. And also let me just bring some of these in that I've just done. These are done just straight with the white with the Harmony ink pads again. So just shows how you can do it straight onto your white foam. So your white foam's a good backup because you can add any colour to that. So I'm going to bring my iron in. I'm going to just move these to one side that I've already coloured. Okay, I'm going to bring my iron in. My iron has been warming up nicely on the side there. Now this iron I'm using is just a normal bog standard household iron. I went and got myself a nice new one, so I've got a nice clean plate to work off. And let me move it over a bit more. Just wanted to show you how I'm going to do some of the flowers as well. So if I bring that in, that's a bit better. So I've got my ball tools. Got those all ready. And my foam. Okay. So the nice thing about these long ones is just literally pop them onto your iron. You haven't got to do much at all. So I'm just holding it on the iron. It will start to drop. And then all I do is lay it on my foam. And I'm using the smaller of the ball tool, and all I do is just push down where the petal joins. The other nice thing about these sprigs is cut into them. If you want smaller leaves, cut into these and use these smaller leaves. That is all I'm going to do to shape that. I'm not doing any more other than that at all. So that's really quick and easy to do. So let's pop those all to one side. They're all done. And then we'll go on with these ones. I'm going to get my bigger ball tool for this. So just heating it up, letting it drop onto my foam. And again, I'm pushing that end of the leaf. Can you see it's looking a bit more leaf-like, if there's such a word. So it's not looking totally fat. It's got a bit more dimension, a bit more reality about it. Okay, so because leaves aren't flat, are they? You know, just go in, make it a little bit wrinkled. I don't want to give it a full distressed look, but I've just cupped it there. And again with the other shape that you've got in your dies. These leaves are great because foliage leaves you're going to use for everything, for your paper crafting, for your, obviously your foam, but don't forget to use them for your paper crafting as well, because you can quite easily. So that's given that a little bit more shape. So the last one on there, I've got a nice selection of leaves. Don't worry if you've got too many, because the thing with the floating teacup, it's not until you actually start building it up do you realise how many you're going to need. So the best thing is I just do lots, got them all ready, I'll use them on other projects. So now let's look at our flowers, because I want to show you how we can add a bit more life to those. So I've got a lily here. Okay, so I've had the lily die. I've cut 2 of the big and 2 of the next size down. So what I do with the lily die is I've gone in with that fuchsia colour to pick out that brighter red that was in my teacup, or brighter pink. Okay, and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to dab just a little bit in the middle, not a lot, just a little bit in that middle there. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. But then I'm going to go in with my Spectrum Noir alcohol pens, and the colour I've picked is PL2. This goes nicely with the pink foam that comes in the kit. And don't be afraid to use your alcohol pens on the foam, because you can. So all I'm doing is I'm doing that sort of, you know, that line effect you get on lilies, and then you get those little dots. That's all I'm doing. So just have fun with them and use your other colouring mediums to add a bit more life to them, so they don't look too flat and boring, if you like. And that is the beauty of the foam. We can shape the foam, but by adding a bit of colour as well, we can really bring these to life and make them look so lifelike. So just a few of these dots, nothing too technical. I'm not doing anything technical at all. Child could do this quite easily. So, and don't worry if they're not all the same. Nature is not the same at all, so don't be too worried about that either. So a few more dots on there, and then we'll start bringing this lily together. The nice thing about the lily die is you've got 5 dies in that collection, and so you can make obviously different size flowers. You can make different shape flowers. Oh, didn't do my dots on that one. But the other nice thing about it as well is, in a minute I'm going to show you another type of flower you can make with this. But let's do a lily first. So I'm going to bring my sponge in, and I'm going to use the smaller of the ball tools for this, because this is how quickly I put a lily together. So I'm just going to hold it onto my iron, let that take shape on my foam, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that line that I've just drawn. I'm just dragging it, so I'm stretching it. Okay, so I'm just stretching that out, so I'm not giving it too much of a distressed look. And again, the next one, if you're worried about the heat, you can always use a pair of tweezers. I find it's quite easy just to hold it on with the ball tool and it doesn't matter if your ball tool heats up because you've got rubber around the end here, so you're not going to burn yourself. Okay, so you can just see this starting to come together. Let that one drop. And it's quite nice just having the different sizes. So as you saw with the foam, you can cut multiple layers. So for this simple lily, I've just got 2 layers of the 2 sizes. So don't just think, oh, it's going to take me ages to die cut everything out, because it doesn't at all. Not at all. And don't be afraid of that. So that is the lily. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my pokey tool and just carefully go through the middle of each one of these, and then we're going to make the stamens to go into it. Okay, so that's all ready to go. Okay, that sponge is handy for that as well. So stamens, I've got my very thin wire. I don't know whether that's showing up particularly well, but it's really fine and thin. Okay, and I've picked up a group of my stamens here. I've got the gold ones here. I thought we'll have gold in the middle of our lilies, and I vary depending on the size of the flower how many I'm going to use, but remember you're going to fold them in half. So I've just got 4 here, so in the end that's going to give me 8 for the middle of my flower. So I'm just holding them all together, and then I'm going to loop them in half. Okay, can you see that? So I've got them all there looped in half. I'm going to cut a piece of my wire. I didn't cut that down, that was a bit silly, Dawn. Right, cut a piece of my wire, poke through roughly the halfway mark, pull your wire so you're halfway through, just bend that. So now I'm holding my stamens there in one hand, and then I'm just going to twist, and you're going to twist your wire down as close as you can to the fabric of the stamens. So I'm just twisting that round and round and round. So that's going nicely. I'm just going to cut some of that off because there's too much there. So you've got that effect going on. If I lay that down there, you can see. So when they're all grouped together, and it doesn't matter that they're all not even, because nature isn't even. So now I'm going to take my lily with the holes in. See if I can get it through in one go. I'm just going to stagger these so they're offset. Stay in the hole. That's it. And then I'm just going to pull it through. But lily stamens stand up, don't they? So you want some of them standing up there. So I've pulled it through. Can you see at the back there? Okay, so that's all pulled through nicely. I just want to twist these petals so they're offset. So I'm just going to twist that one round carefully without breaking it. That's it. Let's have a look at our flower now. That's it. That looks lovely. And then the last thing I'm going to do, so just holding it all back, going with my hot glue gun. It should be nicely warmed up now, yeah. And I'm just going to put a blob of hot glue just round the back to hold that. Okay, and then I can set that to one side just to dry. So that is your basic lily. And just by adding that bit of ink, doesn't that look more realistic? So that's your basic lily. So now let's look at some other flowers. With the lily, we can also make, let me see if I can find one here. Look at these. Beautiful little fuchsias. Aren't they glorious? And this is made with the 2 smaller of the lily dies. But you can make these as big as you like. You could make them as big as the lily size. There's another one there, done a bit bigger. Okay, but can you see how realistic these look? I think these are lovely to hang from cards. I have got a third one somewhere, but I seem to have, it's flown off my desk somewhere. But anyway, we'll find it later. So this is what we're going to go for. So I'm not doing, I've done just literally dabbing a bit of that ink on there. Keeping the white, I think, a little bit plain. In fact, no, let's just do a little bit on the ends because we can. I'm not putting any more ink on. Can you see already that blue is coming out? So this is on the white. So you can see how absorbent these foams are. Okay, and I'm doing both sides because you know these flowers are going to be seen from all different angles on your teacup. Okay, so just that little bit of difference by adding a little bit of ink. Right, let me move my two finished ones over there, and I need to go in with my real small ball tool. Okay, so I'm going in with the coloured blue ones first. Don't need to be on there very long, and literally, look, already that's curled up. I haven't even got to do anything to it, but I am going to put my ball tool in there. But can you see how nicely that's cupped? So you can see straight away with any of these flowers, you can make your little buds. So you think like blossom trees and things like that on your cards. This is where they're going to sort of come into their own. Now I've got the next size up, and this is going to be like the ballet dancer's skirt, as my mum used to call it. So this time I'm going to just stretch just a little bit because I don't want it all curled up too much. And again with this one. So just a little bit, because this is going to go the other way. Right, in with my pokey tool. So right in the centre. So that's one. And another one. But making these flowers is just so therapeutic. It's just lovely. Now, if you wanted to see how to do the floating teacup and how to attach the flowers, and you know how to make your flowers, this is the part of the video you can skip. So just fast forward and get to the part where we attach it. It'll be absolutely fine. So I've got all those all ready, and then you've watched me do it already. So I've just strung the silver on this time, the metallic silver, and I've just got two strung on there ready. So they're ready to go. So let's pop the first one on. But I just wanted to show you how you can create different flowers with these dies. Pop that one through. I just have to be very gentle with these really tiny ones. That is the only thing. Can you see already how that's got a different look about it? And then we put the other one on. So just pop to your garden centre or haberdashery store, or even pop into your florist, because I'm sure they would help you out with some correct wire if you're struggling, because you don't want to have a wire that's too harsh that is not going to fold very easily. Can you see already that's coming? Doesn't that look so different? I'm just going to slightly offset these like I have with the others. So just making sure these are in the right way. Twist that round. Okay, and then that's ready for a little bit of hot glue around the top, like I did with the other one. Okay, so there you go, there's another little fuchsia. So let's pop those to one side. So can you see already we're building these flowers up for our cup. So now let's go in with, this one was the peony, and can you see already I've started inking my petals. Now you don't have to make a true peony, you can do other flowers as well. So I've got two large, two medium, two small. And again, just by adding, if I move this there, just by adding some inks, I'm going in with this pink again, the fuchsia, because it looks very bright, but actually when you've got it on these pale pink flowers, it's not too bad. So for the bigger ones, I'm just going to pop a little bit of colour just on the tips. Let me move that to one side. Just on the tips. And remember to do both sides, because depending on which way your leaves curl or your petals curl, it's just a good idea to do both sides. So that's done. And then this is one of my centre ones, and this is where I wanted to pick out the darker pink in my cup and saucer. So I've gone really in quite heavily, but all I'm doing is sponging this on my glass mat. So no technique at all in this. Child's play, anybody could do it. Okay, so they're all now ready to be put together. So let's put our ink to one side. And let me find my wipe just to wipe that up. Okay, so we can start assembling this. This time I'm going to go in with the bigger ball tool to start with. Okay, so we're going to start with our bigger ones, putting that on to the iron, let that drop, and then with my big ball tool, this is the biggest one you've got in the set if you've got them, just going round and round and round, so that closes up nicely to a cup. Now doesn't that look more lifelike than that, just by having that heat attached? So by having the ink, having the heat, how different they look. So it is an amazing product, and I've thoroughly enjoyed playing with it, as you can probably tell. And the ladies that came along and saw me at the demo day I did at the Chesterfield store will tell you how much I thoroughly enjoyed them. It was a fantastic day. So 2 there cut together. Now we'll go the next size down. But Crafter's Companion have thought of everything with these, so you don't have to. All the guesswork's taken out. So now we're going to pop that one inside there. Okay, so can you see this peony coming together very easily? Drop that one down. Then I'm going to pop that one in there. It's all coming together. I'm going to go down ball tool size now. I think I'm going to go, got the larger one there, I'm going to go with the smaller one. So just heating that up. So I couldn't get hold of a craft iron because, funnily enough, on the internet, once this got launched, you couldn't buy them anywhere. Everywhere was sold out. So that's why I just treated myself to a new iron, and then I'm just keeping this for my crafting. And of course, purple iron, it had to be a purple iron, didn't it? So perfect. So the last one of those, oh, it's gone down there, just watch, don't burn myself. Going with the little ball tool again. But you can see how quick and easy this is to do. I'm just going to try and push that into there. And if I'm really careful, can you see how that just looks beautiful? So just with my pokey tool, I'm going to be really clever and try and get the whole lot in one go, because I can. I've got some pink this time, all popped together. So I think I've got about 4 on this one. And I've got to be really careful to get all the holes at the same time, and I've just moved them, so I'm not going to. So let's see if I can do a couple at a time. So just shredding them on. So just push them down so I've got quite a lot on here actually, I've got 4. That's it, just push those on. So I've got a nice lot of stamens in the middle there, and just cupping that with my hand. Now let's see if I can get the rest of these on. So I hope this has given you a little bit more confidence for those that asked me to do a video. Okay, I know a lot of you have enjoyed my video tutorials, and I do like to do them step by step in real time so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There's no point in me fast forwarding on because you want to see it all happening. So last 2. So I've used 2 of each size there, haven't I, for this peony? And I think that's a nice size actually. You could build up even more. This is where the choice is totally yours. Alright, so that's that one. Now look how nicely, and then if you just want to cup it up even more, just gently coax it with your hands. But isn't that a beautiful peony, just with those different colours? Bit of hot glue at the end there, just to hold that in position. Okay, and that's that done. So I've got one more flower to do. I've got a blue peony here this time. So I'm going to get that done, move my iron out the way, and then we'll bring our cup in and start attaching all our flowers and leaves to our cup. So I'll see you in just a moment. Right, I've finished adding all the elements to it. So I used all the flowers that I made in the end. So if I bring that in, you can see. So we've got our lilies back there with their stamens, and I've got a little fuchsia hanging from the cup there, and I've even put my last two just hanging off the saucer. So you can see how nice it all looks. You will still keep finding these strings of hot glue. I keep pulling them out and you will see them. So if I just turn it round to the back, so you can see underneath there how we just added those leaves to finish that off, and even from the back you've got those hints of colour that are coming through from the cup there as well. Okay, and then you've got your greenery around here, and what I've done with these nice long ones is I've only actually glued the last leaves to the cup, so you've got that movement. These hang over the top, so you've got that movement there, but you've got all these different coloured flowers. And do look at the colours in your cup to determine what colours you're going to do, but don't be afraid to hang some of your flowers and the leaves off the cup. Can you see you've got that movement because we haven't stuck the whole thing down flat? So that is my version of a floating cup. This was the original that I showed you that everyone asked me to do a video tutorial for. But you can see how different they look. This one is a tiny little cup, but you can use any cup you want, any size you want. And this is the one we've just completed in the video tutorial. So the flowers cascade out of the cup, all those beautiful colours. You know, if anybody was in hospital, they'd be delighted to receive a gift like this. It would really cheer them up. Can sit on the side. You know, what a lovely gift to give to somebody. It's just wonderful. I've just finished it off with a bit of my ribbon there. So just a little ribbon on the handle, I think, just finishes that off nicely. You get a little bit of a wobble. This is a bigger cup, mind you, isn't it? But I still think using the teaspoon is right. I think if you used like the longer forks, I think it's too high, but it depends which look you're after. These would be lovely dressed with Christmas flowers to put on the table at Christmas, wouldn't they? Just make lovely red poinsettias and put some of the fir cones and things in. So this is my version of a floating cup. I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations. I do hope you've enjoyed my video tutorial, and if you have, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so every time I pop a video on there you'll be knowing all about it and you can see what I've been up to. So thank you for watching, and thank you for asking me to make one of these floating cups for you so you can make your own. Bye for now.